Let's now bring in Danny Ayalon. He is the former Israeli ambassador to the U.S., and he's also Israel's former deputy foreign minister. Ambassador, thanks for joining us as always. Ambassador, does Israel have any more clarity on the Trump administration's positions and policies after today?
I'm not sure at all. I mean, we talk about grand strategies, but not about specifics, not about tactics. But indeed, we do see a marked change from the former administration in the sense that now Trump is going back to the very basics of the Bush-Sharon parameters, meaning acknowledging and accepting the major blocks of Jewish communities in the West Bank, in the territories, Judea and Samaria, also agreeing to a defensible borders, which means it's a code for Israeli military presence in the valley, the Jordan Valley. So with these two assurances, Israel can really move forward quite confidently and also will be willing to make some concessions.
You feel that there have been assurances after this trip? The president seems to have backpedaled on the issue of moving the embassy. We still don't have a definitive position on where he stands at one state, two-state West Bank settlement. You feel that there have been assurances?
Well, there is still a concern about and some disappointment for not moving the embassy, especially on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the reunification of Jerusalem. But you see that there is no criticism, no any outcries from Jerusalem, certainly not from the government, nor from the prime minister, which means I think there is an understanding that here the president holds this moving of the embassy as a leverage vis-à-vis the Palestinians. Namely, if they would step up to the table and start negotiation without preconditions and direct ones, then I think the embassy can wait. If they do not, then I'm sure the president will feel that there is nothing to lose, and then he may move the embassy soon.
Is perhaps the most significant development a potential new diplomatic era between Israel and the Saudis based on the common threat of Iran? Do you see that? Oh,
absolutely. We have seen it for quite some time. When the agreement, the nuclear agreement with the Iranians was reached under President Obama, the area was really distraught. All the Muslim countries, the Sunni Muslim countries, realized that this was the main threat for them. Israel was disappointed, namely because the agreement did not include the terrorism that Iran is perpetrating all the time and financing and supporting, not testing of ballistic missiles, and most importantly, the agreement itself did not take care of the nuclear capacity. I mean, and it gives the Iranians the goodwill whether to enforce it or not.
And yet, Ambassador, the president said that he would make sure that Iran does not develop a nuclear weapon, but he said during the campaign trail that he would scrap that agreement on day one. Has he taken enough action on that front?
No, and I think it's not realistic to expect that he will do it soon. But I think what is really more realistic now is that this president will hold the Iranians feet to the fire, making sure that they will not breach, even in the slightest way, this agreement. And if they do, they will bear very major and severe consequences. But from the Saudi point of view, Egyptian, Jordanian, Gulf countries, they realized that Israel is not the problem, it's the solution for them. And this is where there are converging interests which can also help bring the Palestinians into the table.
So what do you see as the next step forward in terms of at least fostering better ties between Israel and the Saudis? We did, of course, have a significant flight from Saudi Arabia to Israel, the first of its kind, Air Force One, albeit. But what do you think is a real, tangible step forward that we can expect?
Well, first of all, Michelle, I think it's going to be just baby steps. It's not going to be anything dramatic soon. The Saudis are very, very careful. Also, they must be very concerned about their streets. The Palestinians are very good at inciting the streets against the regimes, whether it's in Cairo or in Riyadh or anywhere else. However, I mean, under the radar, there is a lot of cooperation going on. Security, intelligence. I think maybe they will start a little bit with some more visible commerce, maybe granting Israeli businessmen some visas, and the more progress there is with the peace process, the more bold they can be. But again, it all depends on the Palestinians, whether they will really step up to the plate and whether they will be ready to make some concessions, which they have not been ready to do it until now.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Ayalon. Thank you for your insight. We do